Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of May, and the good news is, from our point of view, yesterday, finally, we finished the cross country. So we had planned an event which was fairly traditional, with everybody out there watching what was happening and joining in the fun, kids running off around the streets. It was all going to be great, but the weather really did work against us, and as we started trying to reschedule, we just simply ran out of time. We had to make a decision to run a whole series of individual races rather than a whole event. That meant that we could look out the window, find a small opportunity to get across the road, run one race without everybody watching, and move on. And it did mean that no one had to sit there in the mud. So the good news is it's all done. It did take all day yesterday. We only finished just on the bell. It did mean as well, though, that we didn't have the regular spectators. So we're hoping next year things will be a little bit simpler, but we are ready in time for our deadlines with PWSA. So that's fantastic, which is great. The other note I've got in the newsletter today is around our school uniform. So at Thornley West, we have a summer and winter uniform, the winter uniform being worn during terms 2 and 3. So students should have transitioned into that uniform. It's really important for our school to make sure that we keep our uniform standards high. And it's one of the things that when I first came to this school, I was really super impressed by how tidy and proudly the students wore their uniform. And it's important that we continue to keep those standards, which I know that us as a community would all support. We need to make sure that as the winter months roll in, that we don't see other colour jumpers and cardigans, etc., coming in, and that we do stick with the school merchandise. If anyone needs some support with that, though, do please contact the office for a confidential conversation, and we can support you. The other thing to remember is that our PNC run a uniform shop here at school. They have online orders, and in today's newsletter, there are a couple of links down below, and also you'll notice further on in the PNC section, they've got some QR codes that you can go through to complete orders. That would be fantastic. And next week at school, across not just our school, but across all of Australia, NAPLAN assessments will be happening for students in years 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now, that's a really great opportunity for our kids to demonstrate the stuff that they know. And I know that sounds really simple, but the idea is that from this assessment, we're able to look at a school at what each individual student knows. That will help to provide feedback to parents. Also helps teachers to refine what they're going to be teaching in class, because basically there's no point teaching the kids what they have already got. But us as a school, we use the big broad picture stuff to focus the school direction in certain areas. And one of those areas for this year is going to be around numeracy, and we've had a fair bit of professional learning already happening. And as that evolves, we'll keep everybody in the loop about the direction we're taking. But it does mean for next week, particularly the kids in year 3 and 5, really important that they're at school here on time every day. Obviously, if they're very unwell, they would stay at home, but we do need a good attendance rate to keep participation levels fairly high. Most of our assessments are online now. So at Thornley West, the only one that is done with a pen and pencil is the year 3 writing. Everything else is done via computer, and the students are well prepared and are familiar with how that system looks. So that should be just great. The last item I've got today to sort of draw everybody's attention to is around voluntary contributions. So each term we send out an invoice to the families asking for some support around a number of items. And we have tried our best to whittle those items down, particularly where we see a link between, a very strong link rather, between that expenditure and the curriculum, because that is most certainly something that us as a school need to be taken care of. And that's why the list has got a little bit shorter. The other thing to remember is that the New South Wales government does fund us very generously, and we have the capacity to implement all their teaching and learning programs, to maintain the buildings, the staffing, etc. And we will make sure at all times that all of our students have an interesting and varied and engaging educational experience. Voluntary contributions do take some pressure off our school budget, and allows us to do a wider range of things than perhaps we would not be able to at other times. But I do stress it is voluntary, and if in fact you choose or are not able to make that payment, that's fine. It would make no difference to your child's experience here at school. We would look at the overall amount of budget resources available, and then we would make changes. We're not going to change one school student's experience because of payment or lack thereof. So do rest assured that will be our approach. And the payments come out or are requested each term. So I think the first term you get a fairly big one with stuff that runs all year, and the payments look shorter as the time goes on, and then you can choose to pay an item or choose not to. And at the end of the year, Margaret in the office, she sort of puts a line through and we start again next year. So please don't stress over that. But for us here at school, that's really the update for the week. We've been very pleased. We've got a bit of sun out. We really are working hard to get organised for NAPLAN next week. And other than that, from us, I do hope you enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. And here at school tomorrow, being Thursday the 5th, we have our Mother's Day store being run by the PNC. All the kids will have an opportunity to pop through, buy a gift. So if something arrives home in a bag, and Mum, just pretend that you can't see it, and it'll arrive in your bedroom, I'm sure, with a nice breakfast on Sunday morning. See you later, everybody.